They told you beauty was only what your eyes could see. They told you that curves defined desirability, that size defined womanhood. But what if I told you science, psychology, and truth itself tell a different story? What if the very thing the world calls less hides the deepest form of feminine power? Today, we're not talking about judgment, we're talking about awakening, and awakening to what true sensual energy really means. The body doesn't define desire. Energy does. You see, our culture has conditioned us to believe that attraction lives on the surface, in the shape, in the size, in the visual. But real connection, real intimacy, isn't born from what you see. It's born from what you feel. A woman's energy field, her confidence, her emotional rhythm, these are the forces that awaken true desire. Science has shown that physical attraction triggers from the limbic system, the part of the brain that responds not just to sight, but to emotional resonance. This means that the moment someone radiates authenticity, self-acceptance, and calm sensual energy, the brain responds with heightened attraction. That's why some women can walk into a room with no exaggeration, no flash, no noise, and still command every gaze. It's because her energy says, "I'm comfortable in my skin." A breast size doesn't dictate femininity. Presence does. The way a woman breathes, the way she listens, the subtle way she connects, that's her magnetism. Studies in behavioral psychology confirm that emotional attunement, empathy, humor, self-awareness are far stronger predictors of long-term attraction than physical proportions. Here's something the world rarely talks about: how a woman's relationship with her body shapes her inner world. From a young age, women who don't fit society's exaggerated beauty standards often learn to find worth beyond what can be measured in a mirror. They start tuning inwards, developing intuition, empathy, and awareness, qualities that build emotional depth and sensual wisdom. Psychological studies have long shown that people who experience early self-comparison often become more emotionally intelligent. They learn to read energy, not attention. They feel more deeply, listen more closely, and love more intentionally. That's because they've been forced to understand something many never do: that connection isn't performance, it's presence. This inner awareness transforms how they show up in relationships. A woman who's grown to love herself beyond appearance carries a quiet, grounded confidence. She doesn't need validation. She radiates assurance. Her energy communicates something deeper, a kind of emotional gravity that draws others in, not with loudness, but with depth. And here's where science and sensuality meet. Emotional intelligence directly enhances intimacy. When a woman is emotionally aware, her body responds more sensitively to touch, tone, and emotional connection. Neurologically, oxytocin, the bonding hormone, flows more freely when emotional safety is present. This means a woman who's emotionally in tune can create a more powerful, connected, and lasting bond with her partner. Here's the truth most people miss. Attraction isn't about exaggeration, it's about harmony. The human brain is wired to seek balance, symmetry in the face, rhythm in the voice, calm in the body. And this same rule applies to what we call feminine allure. It's not about having more or less. It's about the equilibrium between softness and strength, mystery and openness, confidence and warmth. Small, breasted women often embody this natural balance without even realizing it. Their form communicates approachability, comfort, and authenticity. They don't rely on extremes to feel feminine. Instead, their magnetism flows through the way they carry themselves, effortlessly, confidently, and with quiet grace. Psychologists describe this as embodied femininity, the state in which a woman's inner and outer energies are in sync. In evolutionary psychology, balance signals health, stability, and fertility, not excess. The subconscious mind is drawn to harmony because it represents emotional safety and biological vitality. That's why true attraction is rarely about what's most visible. It's about what feels most aligned. When a woman accepts herself as she is, her energy field stabilizes. Her posture changes. Her tone softens. She becomes magnetic, not because she's trying to be seen, but because she's already home within herself. That kind of balance radiates a frequency that both men and women instinctively recognize as beauty. So yes, The size of a woman's breasts doesn't determine her power to attract. What does is the balance she embodies, the quiet confidence that says, I'm whole exactly as I am. That's the kind of harmony that doesn't just catch attention, it holds it. Because balance, not size, is what makes desire feel safe enough to stay. Every study on attraction, from psychology to neuroscience, points to one truth: confidence is the language of desire, not arrogance, not showmanship, but the grounded, unshakable comfort that comes from knowing and loving your own body. When a woman is at peace with how she looks and feels, her energy becomes magnetic. She's not chasing validation, she's radiating self-trust. That comfort translates directly into intimacy. Research from the Journal of Sexual Medicine reveals that people who experience body satisfaction report higher emotional and physical pleasure in their relationships. Why? Because when the mind isn't consumed by insecurity, it's fully present. Presence creates connection, and connection creates depth. A woman who accepts her body, every curve, every line, every imperfection, invites her partner to do the same. She leads not with appearance, but with energy. Her touch feels genuine, her laughter unguarded, her presence free. There's no performance, no pretending, just pure being. And that authenticity is what awakens intimacy that feels real, not rehearsed. Confidence is contagious. When a woman feels safe in her own skin, her partner feels safe too. The walls drop, the fear of judgment disappears. In that space, love, desire, and vulnerability can finally breathe. Every spark of attraction, every rush of connection, every heartbeat that quickens when two people lock eyes starts in the brain. Not in the body, not in what we see, but in what we feel and think. The mind is the most powerful sexual organ we have, and when it's engaged, no physical feature can compete. Neuroscience tells us that attraction is born from psychological resonance. When two people share emotional rhythm, curiosity, laughter, trust, depth, their brains release a surge of dopamine, the pleasure chemical. But it doesn't stop there. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, begins to flow when safety and emotional presence are felt. This is why some of the strongest chemistry happens not in the most perfect couples, but in those who truly understand each other. When a woman feels mentally and emotionally seen, her body naturally awakens, her nervous system relaxes, her energy expands, and connection deepens. This is where real intimacy begins, in the silent, unseen language of two minds recognizing each other. The mirror can't reflect that kind of beauty. Only presence can. And here's the truth most people miss. Physical attraction fades without mental stimulation. But when desire is rooted in emotional and intellectual connection, it doesn't fade. It evolves. It matures into something richer, something unbreakable. Gentlemen, let me speak to you heart to heart. Not as a teacher, not as a voice behind a screen, but as a woman and as someone who has spent years studying the psychology of feminine energy, love, and connection. I've seen it countless times. Men chasing the image of beauty that society sold them while missing the essence that could have changed their lives. I've sat with women who cried because they were told they weren't enough. And I've watched men realize too late that what they truly craved was never found in appearance. It was in energy. As a woman and a women's psychology coach, I can tell you this with certainty. When you start to look beyond the body, you begin to experience women, truly see them in a way few ever do. You start noticing the small things, the calm confidence in her eyes, the softness in her tone, the way she listens not just with her ears, but with her heart. That's where real beauty lives. That's where real connection begins. So my message to every man watching is this: stop searching for perfection and start recognizing presence. Stop looking for the woman who looks ideal and find the one whose energy makes you feel alive. Because when you connect with a woman who is emotionally intelligent, confident, and in tune with her body, no matter her size, her shape, or her past, she will meet you at a depth you didn't know existed. And when that happens, you'll finally understand it was never about how she looked. It was always about how she made you feel. If this message opened your mind, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it, reflect on it, and start seeing women and yourself with new eyes, because the moment you do, everything about love, intimacy, and connection will change forever.